Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back. We are on our last lesson learning about author's purpose. So let's jump into it. Tell me, I hope that you can remember what author's purpose is. The author's purpose is the reason an author writes. Remember, they don't just sit down and write. They think of why they want to share their writing with the reader. So an author's purpose is just the reason or purpose the author has for writing. Let's talk about those purposes that we have already learned about, and we're going to have a new one today that I'm going to introduce to you. So remember, authors write to share information with the reader. Authors write to explain something by giving directions. Authors write to entertain the reader, and remember, that's when they just write for fun. It could be sad stories or happy stories, but it's for fun writing. And then the last one that we're going to learn about today is to persuade the reader. So we have already learned about sharing information with the reader, and we have already learned about explaining something to the reader. We've already learned about entertaining. So all that we have left to learn is to persuade the reader. Now that word persuade is tricky. Do you know what it means to persuade someone? We're going to learn about it right now. So the last reason that we're going to learn about that authors write is to persuade or convince the reader to do something or believe something. So if I believed that the grass was blue, even though we know the grass is not blue, I could try to persuade or convince you to believe like I believe that the grass is blue. So I would try to make you believe what I believe. Or if I thought that chocolate ice cream was the best flavor, I could try to convince you or persuade you to believe that chocolate ice cream was the best flavor. So when authors persuade, they try to get you to believe something, or they might try to get you to do something or think a certain way. And that's exactly what persuade means, is trying to convince someone to think the same way you do. Some examples of persuasive writing, or when the author tries to persuade or convince you, are advertisements. So if you think when you watch TV and you see those ads or commercials, some of those might be for toys, and those commercials are trying to persuade or convince you to buy that toy. You might see a commercial for food or a restaurant, and that commercial is trying to convince you or persuade you to go to that restaurant. So on TV and in newspapers and stuff like that, we see lots of advertisements that try to persuade us. And then we have newspaper editorials, and that's where people write in what they think, so that way they can try to convince you or persuade you to think like they think. Junk mail, and then some posters too, try to persuade us to think like the author thinks. So when an author persuades, they're trying to get us to think or believe like they think or believe. Now we're going to go back to that video that we started whenever we did to share information, when we learned about how authors share information. And we're going to watch kind of the same cheetah story. So I want you to keep in mind, what was the purpose of this video? Why did the author decide to write and create this video? And in the video, once it loads, I'm going to skip a little bit ahead and skip the part that we already watched, because we don't need to watch that part again. We've already seen it. So just give me a second to skip just a little bit ahead to about right here.
Cheetahs, written to inform. The writer presented straightforward
and
facts.
I'm sorry, we're almost there. All right, we're just going to let it play through for just a minute.
The writer was
So if you remember the last video, the author wrote that video to inform us about cheetahs. We learned real facts and information about cheetahs. Now we're going to watch a second part of the video and see if we can figure out what the author's purpose is.
Writing to inform. Listen to the following sentences and decide if the author's purpose is to inform or persuade. Cheetahs were once common on 5 continents, but now they are endangered.
So that word endangered, it means that there's not a lot of cheetahs left in the world. So they used to be in 5 continents, so almost everywhere in the world. And now they're only on 5 continents. So there's not a lot of cheetahs left anymore.
Is the author writing to inform or persuade?
So in that one, we wanted to know, is the author informing us or are they persuading us? Are they trying to get us to think like they think? And if you said inform, you're exactly right.
The writer is informing. You can tell because the writer is presenting facts without convincing you to do something. Let's try another. Cheetahs depend on a clean, natural environment to survive.
Okay, so that sentence is saying that cheetahs need a clean environment to survive. So they don't need to live in places where there's lots of houses or things like that. So in this one, is the author trying to inform us on what cheetahs need or convince us to clean up cheetahs' environments? Think about that.
We should all be respectful of the world around us because we all need a healthy planet.
Okay, in that second sentence, it's telling us that we should all be respectful because we need a healthy planet. So is the author giving us facts and details, or are they trying to make us or trying to convince us or persuade us to keep our planet clean? So think, is the author informing us? Are they just sharing information, or are they trying to persuade us to keep our planet clean? This one can kind of be tricky.
Is the author writing to inform or persuade?
I'll give you just a second to think. Are they informing us, giving us facts and details, just sharing information about cheetahs, or are they persuading us to help keep our planet clean? Let's find out.
The writer is writing to persuade.
The author wants us.
Facts are
the author wants us to keep our planet clean because that's what cheetahs need.
presented. The purpose is for you to act and keep the planet clean. Let's try one more example. The Cheetah Conservation Corps cannot continue its work without your support. Please help save the cheetahs by making a small donation.
So this little section, these two sentences are telling us that the Cheetah Conservation Corps cannot continue without your work. Please help save cheetahs by making a small donation. So they want you to donate some money, or not you exactly, but they want people to donate money to help save the cheetahs. So think, are they giving us information, facts, and details, or are they trying to get us to do something or think something? What is the author trying to do? Think about it.
Is the author writing to inform or to persuade? If you said that the writer was writing to persuade, you were right.
You're right.
The writer's purpose is to raise awareness about an endangered species and to raise money.
All right, we're going to stop right there. Those little cheetahs are so cute. So I hope that video helped you learn more about how authors write to persuade. Remember, to persuade or convince just means that they're trying to get you to think like they think or do something because of their writing. This one can be a little bit tricky, but during this lesson, you're going to continue to learn about how authors persuade you through their writing. And you're going to do a great job, even though it might be just a little bit tricky. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you guys very soon. Bye, boys and girls.